here today, coming at you with a TRD Sketchy Sunday layout. This is the sketch that I am going to be using today. Of course, I'm going to be adapting it into a life crafted album size, and I'm using the brand new Goldenrod collection. You can see I've already dug deep into the Goldenrod collection to create my October Daily foundation pages that I posted yesterday on YouTube. So I'm going to be utilizing a lot of digital stuff, including the digital embellishments from the digital kit, to create this layout. It's going to be super fun. So you can see I already created my background with paint scatters everywhere from the collection, and I pre-printed this doily on here so that I wouldn't torture my silhouette trying to cut out this doily. And then also there are some of the gold shimmery leaves I've already put on this background page too as an accent. So let's get started. All right, so one thing I really loved about this sketch is the ability to really add to it. There's a lot of layering going on in the sketch itself with all of these Polaroid frames that are layered together, but there's still a lot of room on the sketch for embellishment, and I always use stars as placeholders for embellishments on my sketches. So I'm going to be taking those stars and I'm going to be expanding upon them as well. I'm going to be using leaves since this layout is about changing colors of fall. I have 3 photos of Libby enjoying the fall weather. We've been out a little bit more lately because it's not as hot. And so I have a lot of these really sunny photos of her, and so I thought that they would be perfect for the theme of this layout, and since I had so many, they're also perfect for the amount of photos that are on this layout. So I'm using this digital pocket from the digital kit. It comes in layers so that you can put all of the layers together, of course, but you can see that because it's digital and you don't really have to think about adhesive, there's not a lot of room between the edge of the pocket and where the card can slide in. So I'm just using a really small, thin line of adhesive around the outside edges of the card or the pocket so that I can stick the card in there that I've already pre-printed my journaling on when it's dry. So don't stick it in there while it's still wet because you'll more than likely get glue on the journaling and then it will be stuck in there forever. So I'm just letting it sit to the side while I let that dry. So I printed out, instead of Polaroids in the background, I decided to print out a few of the frames from the collection. So that blue one is actually in the digital kit, and then the 2 plaid ones are on the sticker sheets for the collection rather than in the digital kit. So I'm going to use a bunch of different patterned papers from the kit to back the back of these frames, just like on the sketch. So you could use journal cards, you could use more photos. I chose to use patterned paper because I just like the vibe of having them offset, and sort of, it almost feels like on the whole sketch everything is just kind of cascading down the page, and that was the vibe I was going for, especially because I'm going to be having leaves that are also cascading down the page, so it kind of works like, you know, fall leaves, falling leaves. That was where my brain was going, at least, so that is what I'm thinking. I also printed out that layered frame that you see that was also in the digital kit, and I just used that as an extra frame on this page. I'm just going all in on the frames, just really playing up that whole vibe. So I also printed these Polaroid frames separately. I tend to like to just add white photo paper, or just like trim my photos so that they have Polaroid frames, but I really wanted the texture that you can't really see on the video, but the texture of the white cardstock in the kit to be on my frames. So instead I printed out the frames, or I cut out the frames Polaroid size out of that cardstock pattern paper. Now, in order to get these clusters down where I want them, I'm actually sticking the frame to the photo to the background frame, and all of that to the patterned paper that goes in the very background. That way I can put it down as an entire group rather than trying to layer from the bottom up. So that I know that everything is working together right and getting placed correctly. Because when I print at home on Epson Premium presentation paper, which is my preferred paper to print at home, there's really no give with the adhesive. Once something is down, it's down. It's going to rip up the paper if you try and pull it up. So, and you'll see that happen when I move the pocket a little bit that I have over there on the left-hand side later in the video. So what I like to do is I like to build, when I have a lot of clusters, I like to build from the top down and then stick it all down as one whole piece. That way I don't spend too much time and effort trying to pull up, pull up the papers and the photos and ripping the paper, because you know that can always be a catastrophe even if you're just slightly moving things. Okay, so I've got everything down as far as the main layers on the page. I'm going to use this Colorcast Designs wood veneer for my title, and it says changing colors, so that's perfect. And I'm just going to use some Nuvo glue to stick it down. You can do this with your tape runner as well. You could even staple it down if you wanted to, but I like to use liquid glue when the design is complex, like these little letters. It just is easier and cleaner than trying to use your tape runner and get in all of those little spots. So I'm going to do the same with this clear September piece that is included every month in the Everything kit. That adhesive will dry clear, but there's one included each month. So this was September, so I decided to include it on this page. I like that little bit of, just a little bit of different texture it gives the page, just like with these paper clips from Coco Daisy's Autumn Thicket collection. I like both the extra sort of texture and also the little pop of metal and brown that it adds to the page, which kind of matches both the veneer and the photos themselves. So I'm getting a lot of texture from both of those things, and of course the veneer itself. So that helps to just add a little bit of pop when you're using printables, because printables are all paper, obviously. So adding little bits and pieces here and there to that are different textures other than paper really helps to make your layout come alive. So the last thing I'm going to do, or the second to last thing I'm going to do, is I'm going to add these printed leaves to the page, and I'm popping them up on these shorter pop dots. I have taller pop dots, but I'm popping them up on the shorter pop dots so they just sit slightly above the page and they aren't creating too much texture. One thing I love about Colorcast Designs wood veneer and especially that clear acrylic is that it's very thin and it doesn't add too much bulkiness to your album. So I'm trying not to add any more bulkiness by using pop dots that are too high. So there, all the leaves are cascading down the page just like I had envisioned. And then I'm going to stick this little boo to you down because Libby's giving me the side eye in this picture. She's not happy about leash training. She's much too impatient. So she's giving me the side eye, and I thought that boo to you worked well because she's saying boo. The last thing I'm going to do after I move this pocket is I'm going to take some of these gold enamel dots. You can see them right here. They're shiny. I'm going to take the gold ones. I thought about the brown ones, but I intentionally did not add brown to the Goldenrod collection. So I'm going to use the gold instead. And I'm just going to scatter the medium and the small ones all across the page, basically adding them to where the leaves are, just to give the leaves a little bit of shine, a little bit of pop on the page, make it a little bit more fun and interesting, and add just that one more layer of texture to this layout. I really love how it came out. There are more examples on the blog post from the team that is linked in the description box below, as well as links to product. If you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. I would love to have you. If you don't already, you can follow me over on Instagram. I'm at Traci M. Reed. I'd love to see you over there as well, and I will see you next time. Thank you.